People Power Lunch Hour is a weekly talk show produced by PhillyCam that engages the community and highlights local organizations, social movements, nonprofits, and local issues. We broadcast live every week on Comcast and Verizon TV on WPPM 106.5 FM from our Center City studios. On today's show, we are joined by members of the Warrior Writers Project, a national nonprofit organization based here in Philadelphia. Their mission is to create a culture that articulates veterans' experiences, build a collaborative community for artistic expression, and bear witness to war and the full range of military experiences. We are going to talk about the current writing projects and much, much more on this edition of the People Power Lunch Hour. Stay tuned. Warrior Writers are here in the studio with me today at WPPM. I'm joined by Lovella Calica, sorry about that, Mike Miller, Toni Topps, and Chris Wilson. Let me tell you about our guests. The Warrior Writers are a community of military veterans, service members, artists, allies, and healers dedicated to creativity and wellness. They use writing, painting, photography, and a host of other mediums to reflect on our experiences and express them creatively. Warrior Writers is a national nonprofit organization based in Philadelphia with members and activities across the country. Warrior Writers is a veteran-focused art organization that fosters artistic exploration and expression through casual, welcoming workshops and retreats. By reflecting and creating a comfortable space, they encourage and support healing and community building. Art making becomes the creativity tool through which they understand and transcend experiences of trauma and emotional disruptions that are not easily identified but constantly felt. Creative works are shared with public in the form of books, performances, exhibitions, empowering veterans to share experiences openly and artistically, and providing opportunities for the broader public to understand veterans' experiences. Through Warrior Writers, veterans have created a network of support and reprieve, which are artistic growth and development and lasting friendships are built. Using art as a language, they help bridge the gap between veterans and civilians. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show, folks. How's everybody doing? Let's give ourselves a hand. Y'all in the house. Right?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So we're going to start with Lovella. Lovella, so tell us about this project.
Warrior Writers is a 10-year-old organization. I founded it in 2007 after working with veterans for a few years. I'm not a veteran, but I'm a writer and a military family member. My grandfather served in the military, and my partner of 9 years served in the Army. So I had been working with veterans for quite a few years, and they had been telling me about their experiences and sharing their own sort of deployment stories, but also sort of struggles coming home. And I wanted to share my own writing with them. I had been through some of my own trauma in my life unrelated to the military, and I knew that writing had been something that for me was really very helpful and helped me to reflect and process. So I wanted to share it with them. So I did that, and then I asked if they had any writing that they wanted to share. They did. And then I thought to myself, this writing is amazing.
So everyone is military or veteran?
The rest of
That's
them
in
are,
the
yeah.
project.
Mm-hmm.
And how many members are there? Just across the country?
Probably 1,000. We don't really have an exact count of our members.
Okay.
So anyway, sorry. I was saying that I wanted to sort of share that writing with the world. I thought I can't be the only one to hear this. It's not just me that should be able to hear this. This is what's going on in our country. This is what veterans are experiencing. All we hear is from the media, from the government officials, from the generals. We need to know what's really happening. So I wanted to get their voices out there. I wanted to put a book together, and I wanted to have a workshop so that we could write together and support each other. That was my idea. That was my plan. It was just going to be a one-time thing. And then once we started, I knew that we weren't going to stop. We just kind of kept growing since then.
Started snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to Chris. Tell us a little bit about your background and your military experiences and where you're from.
Hey, my name's Chris. I'm a resident right here from Philly, born and raised. I joined the Army. Hey, my name is Chris Wilson. I'm a resident right here in Philadelphia, born and raised. Joined the Army in 2006 to 2010. As a airborne as an airborne paratrooper with the 173rd Airborne. I did 2 tours in Afghanistan, after which I came back to Philadelphia and start working with the VA, doing a lot of study groups, and which I eventually met Lovella and joined Warrior Riders.
Now, let me ask you, in Afghan, did they do some kind of like USO shows? Did y'all perform over there?
They had a few shows. Toby Keith came out.
What part of Afghan?
I was actually up in the north, in the Nuristan province, but of course we all came to the south every now and then. A base called Bagram.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, unfortunately, just so y'all know, you guys, I'm a military spouse. I did 3 years in Iraq, Baghdad, Al-Assad. So when Vanessa told me about this project, I said, hey, I might can relate to them. I'm not military though. I was contract. So just so y'all know how that.
He was making the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I know, and then we used to have that problem all the time with the military. But speaking of the poetry and stuff, they actually had shows in Baghdad, and I actually was hosting a show called Al-Assad's Got Talent, and I was hosting. I would have the military, everybody would come up, and I would just be the host. But it was cool. So that's funny that came all the way back to the States. Didn't know I would ever talk about that it was a group out like that. Wow. So I'm sorry about that, Chris.
Hey, no problem. At all. And I also found, writing really helped me with a lot of my disabilities that I was going through as far as PTSD and different things like that. And just kind of getting back used to, being a civilian again.
Right.
And writing really helped out.
Okay. If we don't mind, move on to Toni. Give us a little bit about your background and your experiences and where you're from.
So my name is Toni Topps. I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised. I am an Air Force veteran. Not like my friends here, but I'm an Air Force veteran. I joined in 1998 to 2002 after being away at college for a little while at Xavier University in New Orleans. And when I came back home, I was okay for a while, had, a couple of struggles. However, almost 2 years, for 1 whole year, I stopped speaking and literally stopped speaking. And I've been with, once I came out of that and out of my challenges, I met Aranda Smith Benson. She was the director over at the Women's Vet Center. And she told me about Warrior Writers and told me I should come out. And I was like, no, I didn't really want to be around any other veterans. I didn't want to be seen as, quote unquote, that type of veteran that had these challenges and so forth. And so she finally pushed me to go. And I was working at a recording studio, like volunteering with my friends. Mm-hmm. And I went and I fell in love with it. I felt, finally I was around people that I didn't have to explain, how I was feeling. What I was going through. They knew, even if I was silent, they knew. They were supportive. It was a judgment-free zone. And I've been with Warrior Writers as a performer, a writer, and a facilitator for a year now. So I always tell people that Warrior Writers saved my life. It gave me my voice back.
Nice. I just thought your name was cool, Toni Topps.
Toni Topps.
And let's go to your left, the brother.
Yes,
brother
sir.
From another mother.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. I can't complain.
Give us a little background.
So my name is Michael Miller. I was in the Marine Corps and the Army. I did the Marine Corps from 94 to 2002. I did the Army from 2007 till 2014. I last deployed in Afghanistan. I was on Bagram. And actually we did have a show night out there. We called it, you know, the Afghanistan Cafe.
Yeah.
And prior to me leaving America, I had like one of the longest running venues in my city of Chester.
Wow.
And so when I came back, I kind of changed the name of mine for a little while to the Afghanistan Cafe because,
Wow.
you know, it was kind of, it was fun and unique in a way that we didn't talk about the military experiences when we got on stage out in
Exactly.
Bagram. We talked about everyday things that affected life, home, things of that nature. And I'm sure anybody who's anyone that wrote about experiences, but there was certain experiences that we felt like we couldn't share. Now, on one of my last missions in Afghanistan, I had gotten blown up. Like my convoy was attacked. I had gotten blown up. I actually had issues and difficulty with speaking and stuttering and things of that nature. And once I got it all back, I got home. I wound up getting into some therapy because I had my anger issues and everything. And my therapist actually recommended Warrior Writers to me, and that's kind of how I found out about it. And coming to Warrior Writers, I had like a preconceived notion, you know, because I'm African American, and I honestly thought to myself, like, you know, there's this truth, and then there's this truth, and I'm like, I don't want to walk in and say the truth because you always have fear that it won't be accepted. You won't be accepted for literally speaking your mind or speaking out on some things. And surprisingly enough for me, it was accepted with open arms. I didn't have any difficulties or problems coming into Warrior Writers, expressing myself the way I wanted to, and no one told me like you can't. Like the only time you ever get you can't is if you can't curse. And that's it. That's the major no.
We just had that conversation over here.
Yeah, we never say that on our shows, but I noticed the thing on the wall and I said, I got to tell them, otherwise we're in trouble.
Yeah, because there's a sign on the wall that says no cursing. So it's like, man, that's all my material. It's like, no, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Well, you got to just tell her today, just for this show.
Yeah, just for today.
You're listening to WPPM LP Philadelphia and Philly Cam Live TV, the People Power Lunch Hour, and we're talking with the Warrior Writers up here live in our downtown studios. And just so you guys know, you guys can jump in whenever you want. The mics are there for you to speak. And I want to start with, since we was already on Toni or Lovella. How did you get into poetry? How did you start poetry? Or anyone can jump in.
So I've been writing bad poetry since I was in elementary school. Luckily, over time, it got better since I didn't quit. I took a few classes in high school, but I think for me, it's always just it's just been there. I didn't take a lot of classes for it, but it's just been, for me, like I said earlier, something that I just needed to do. A lot of times it just came out of me. It wasn't that I'm going to go sit down and write a poem about, my dog or whatever. It was just like whatever I was feeling and dealing with at the time.
Let me ask, so even like now, with this Warrior Writers, like right now, we're sitting here talking. Is this how the groups normally go? We sit there and you just start talking, and but it's more of a artiste.
Yeah, I mean,
artists, some warriors though.
Yeah, we talk a lot in the beginning. For some people that are new to it, we want to make sure people feel comfortable, like Mike was saying. Make sure people know that they can say what they need to say and what they want to say. We talk a little bit, we read some poetry, and then I say, okay, now write. And it's kind of that simple. It's a little more complicated, but I think for me the hardest part is getting them all in the same room. Once they're in the same room, they'll sit down and write, and they do the hard work.
You get some energy in a room.
They're doing the hard work of writing, and as long as they get together and do it.
I guess it is, like I said, I was over there, but I didn't go through what you guys went through. I heard this stuff coming down. I felt building shake, but you guys out there outside the gates. So I always respected that. Like, this is no joke. Might be here, and certain things don't have names on them. It just dropped. But you guys out in the field, so I'm assuming. I see how this can help. Yeah. Mainly if you're an artist, you can get it out more and more.
Yeah. Well, it's really like a form of self-therapy, honestly. And just to share with people who feel, the same way that you do, or can at least or just to know that you can share with people that, at least identify with the things that you're going through. It's a large relief, a very large relief, because sometimes you always feel like what comes out your mouth, there's that stigma of being judged after you say it.
Exactly.
But, being connected to this organization, your feelings are validated, and it helps you work through some things sometimes, because it's just like therapy in a way. You go to a therapist, they let you talk. They let you say what you want to say. And sometimes you work out things on your own.
And that's what I'm saying. So this is a therapy. Warrior writers, would it be a therapy?
Well, it's therapeutic, but we're not therapists.
Yeah.
Well, we're not therapists, so we don't claim to be that. It's very therapeutic, and it's easy. You look forward to coming back. To seeing these friendly faces and meeting new people every time there's a workshop, in different places, a part of the city. I look forward to seeing Mike. When I saw him when I got here, I was like, oh, he's here. I look forward to writing with him. I look forward to seeing Lovella. And you build this camaraderie because it's like, after you get out the service, your mission isn't over. So now we have a different mission. Now we're trying to take care of each other and take care of ourselves. And Warrior Writers give us that leeway and that, safe, judgment-free zone that we can do that.
I just want to say a couple things officially about the therapeutic aspects because, like they're saying, it is therapeutic, it's cathartic, it helps. But yeah, we're not art therapists, we're not claiming to be, and I think that's part of what brings a lot of people to the table because they're not ready or they don't want to go to therapy, but they'll come and make art with people and then later they'll realize that, maybe it's cathartic or therapeutic for them. But I think too, the other thing about it is we as Warrior Writers don't want to say what this is going to be for you. We're providing the opportunity and the tools and the guidance, but for you it might be just simply recording your life. You're going to forget what you did 10 years ago.
Right.
And it might be for some people, healing, it might be therapeutic, but we just want to provide that and you make it what it is. And like Toni said, I think that the main thing about Warrior Writers is that community aspect. The art is what brings us there, and that's sort of the tool that we use, but it's really about the community and the friendship. But I wanted to also let Chris answer the question about how I got started.
Sure.
Definitely. Just to reiterate on what you were saying, definitely not therapy.
I think Chris vibing with me, y'all. I think Chris, I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you.
But I've been in real VA therapy, and that therapy is like Dr. Jekyll. So compared to this is more so, bringing together like the fragments of all the things that we forgot in like Afghanistan. A lot of times you have these nightmares, you have memories that you can't bring it all together, and when you start writing about it, it all kinds of makes sense all of a sudden. But for me, poetry started in college. My professor, he made us write a poem one day, and out of nowhere, I had wrote a poem, and he loved it. He read it to the class. So
You'd be surprised what we can do.
Yeah, so yeah, it really shocked me. So I really, I took interest to it when I met Lovella, and she made me start writing. I don't know.
But you know what? I'm hearing Chris. Look, let's go right in. Give me something. Give us something.
Give
me something,
I got
man.
you.
We might as well go ahead and keep it moving. I'll come back with my continuing line of questioning. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
This poem I read is called Psychological.
Okay.
I'm not a lover. I'm a writer. I'm a fighter. Wait, I'm lying. Please don't think I'm a liar, because I no longer get paid to fight. Like, I'm not still here because of my might. I really try hard to maintain, putting my fears in the things that I write. But you can't tell me my future's brighter. My skin doesn't really seem to get lighter. I keep asking the state to loosen the rope around my neck, and they keep making it tighter. So I stay out of sight. I stay out of mind. Sitting in a prison, hanging on to the key, wasting my own time.
Yeah. What we gotta do? What we do? Claps? How y'all do this?
Yeah.
Now, Chris, while we're there, we're gonna move on to Toni. Now, how has this participation in the project changed you?
A whole lot. First of all, it's made me see things a little bit clearly about like why I be upset and some of the frustrations that I go through. And then it kind of gives me a place to go back. I could go back and read some of these poems and feel good, comfortable about it. Or read somebody else's poem, and it'll give you ideas and stuff, make you feel better. Definitely.
Okay, Toni. Let's move on down to you. How has this participation changed you?
Well, can you hear me? Well, I
We can
started
hear you,
writing.
Toni.
You sure? You sure?
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be a star of the day.
Look at her. Leave that mic alone, woman.
But I started writing poetry before I went into the military, and I started because I was in a domestic violence situation. And when I went to an open mic, I saw that nobody knew.
Open mic in the military?
No, open mic here in Philadelphia. So
Okay.
I was writing before. And
Okay.
once I got out the military, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Got it.
And I saw nobody knew if these poems were like truth or if they were
Right.
lies, and it was a way for me to get out what I was going through in a domestic violence situation. When I started writing again, like I said, Warrior Writers helped me find my voice because I had stopped speaking for a whole year. So being a part of this project, being a part of this community has really literally given me my voice back. It's given me the confidence to speak again, to have this normal conversation. It's given me the
Absolutely.
confidence to just interact with people. You know, although I have challenges, I'm okay with being around, you know, other male veterans and so forth. So
So you're gonna, you know, we ready for you.
I
You
am.
coming
I
right
am.
at us.
I'm
Mike,
going to piggyback.
You're coming right behind.
I'm going
Got
to
it.
piggyback off of Chris, what we were talking about with therapists. And so mine's is called Hello. And I'm talking about my therapist. My labels bind me up to be nothing more than disabled in these parts. In their eyes, my eyes are slim to none. My death has already begun. Spinning webs already spun. I'm done. Shouldn't want anything more but the 1st and the 3rd of the month. She walks in. Hello. You say you're sick, right? Need help? Can't make it. PTSD and anxiety give you the shakes. Night sweat strip down your back and the nape of your neck. Faint whispers, shapes dancing in the corner. I see the fears in your eyes, and I'm here to ease your broken mind. Hello. Because you sent for me. Savior on redial, a hero light in the sky, so I answered. Hello. You are desperate, depressed, self-loathing, and hopeless. There's nothing left for you in this life or the next one. A manic depressant, check. An anxiety misfit, check. And socially awkward, hello. So my prescription for you is stop preaching, stop teaching. Nobody's listening, so stop reaching. These words echoing in my head, ringing 24 hours a day on repeat, I start to believe. Then other days I tell myself, nah, this is deceiving. So, hello. I'm my own savior. No hero calls, so no need to pick up. No, these calls are being recorded for quality insurance and training purposes. What is your purpose, miss? Hello. No, telemarketers don't need you to be down for my calls because I ain't down. I am all the way up. I've low crawled in the mud with simulator bombs going off, up and under barbed wire, dirt in the face, one leg, opposite arm at a time. Hello. My life has not expired. Insomnia won't kill me because I've already survived sleep deprivation, so I ain't beat. My feet already sore. Been walking a long walk home from post 9/11 war. Hello. It amazes me, that savior mentality. What makes you think you can save me from stuff you ain't even seen with your own two eyes, digesting stories of war cries, watching old films and reading theoretical pamphlets? Insert here. Appropriate response follows this nonverbal cue. You're clueless. Hello, like two fools arguing in the streets. But I'm built for this. Got those survival instincts instilled in me since basic. I'm never basic. Complicated and amazing. Borderline fantastic is what they will remember about me. Hello. Self-made veteran, mental health vigilante.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice. Well, listen, you're listening to WPPM LP Philadelphia 106.5. We're sitting here with the Warrior Writers. Give us a call at 215-923-WPPM if you want to talk, say something, or just elaborate with us. And coming up next, the man with the plan, Mike. But before you start, Mike, tell us how did they participate and help you? And
Well, much like Toni, I've been writing all of my life. I was doing spoken word prior to me getting in the military and all, prior to me coming to Warrior Writers. The difference is that Warrior Writers actually really helped me because there was an aspect of myself that with performing poetry that I could never really show to anybody else because I did always fear like there's judgment attached. I did always fear like it's something extra going on. So it's like a part of yourself that you always hide inside. Therefore, you're never dealing with it. It's like that closet, the proverbial closet with the bones in it, you know.
Okay.
It's like, but once I got introduced to Warrior Writers and I was able to open up about my experiences and everything, it helped me out a whole lot dealing
awesome.
with the things I go through.
So you're about to, I don't even know how to say it. No, I used to rhyme, but I don't know if you're about to drop a piece. How do you say when you're about to introduce? And then can you introduce your partner?
So when I came back after my accident and everything, I wound up opening up my own cafe. Mr. John Carr is somebody who's been working with me for many years, and he performs down at my cafe. It's called Open Mike's Cafe. And together we
Nice
performed
name,
the
Open
piece.
Mike's, I got
thank
it.
you.
Nice.
Namesake.
Nice.
So, being with Warrior Writers and all, and I figured the pieces, well, my pieces would affect people more if I had the aspect of vocals like attached to it. And so we started playing around with a couple of things. So this piece is called The Wartime Reality Show. So here you go. Thank you. You ready?
Drum roll.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming?
They say that the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, I'm here today to tell you that the wicked gets it first. Bombs, bullets, and bad guys, newspapers, newscasters, political lies. Right now, war is the biggest reality show on TV. But you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, why believe me when you can see it for yourself? So many countries out there needing Americanized help, and our biggest and bravest are literally dying to give it. Just look at all the graveyards out there full of patriotic spirits. Or ask the children crying out for fallen fathers and mothers, but only you and your living room will ever get the chance to hear it. And the world seems to be such a lonely place for a little boy who has the I miss my daddy blues. His mother's eyes swollen with tears every time he tries on his daddy boots, but she can't understand that he just wants to feel close to him again. So every day he goes to school and tells teachers, preachers, family, and friends, when I grow up, I want to be just like him. So when he turns 18, off he goes, another contestant for this messed up reality show.
Who's brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming.
They say to honor thy father and mother, but that's pretty hard to do when a little girl is being raised by her father and brother. Thanks to an improvised explosive device, mommy's never coming home. And you may say it's not that bad, she's not really alone because she has the two others. But nothing can comfort a little girl's tears like the arms of her mother. So when she has questions, she turns to dysfunctional girlfriends. Menstruation, body changes, abusive boyfriends. A lifetime of changes coming around the bend because her daddy can't teach her what he doesn't understand or know. Here's your next contestant for this messed up reality show, and all I want to know is...
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You see, children ask the hardest questions when they don't understand. But it's another moment for you to capture out there in TV land. We give a lot to this country, but does the tears of our children mean that we pay too much? Newspapers, newscasters, political minds out of touch. I mean, hell, they pay contractors about $100,000 to be in a war zone, more than the members of the armed forces. And it's a disservice that when a singer dies, he get more airtime than one of us. But I guess if it doesn't make dollars, it'll never make sense. Lights, camera, action, let this craziness commence. I now return you to your scheduled programming.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Whoa.
Oh, thank you.
That was my favorite piece.
Wow. Well, listen, that was awesome. That was awesome. Open mic. Listen, we're going to join. If you're joining us, we're going to take a short break. We're talking to members of the Warrior Writers Project on People Power Lunch Hour here at PhillyCam. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're watching PhillyCam TV and WPPM 106.5 FM. Welcome back. Again, we are with the Warrior Writers. They are here in the house in the Philly Camp Studios. We just heard a rendition of what song is that again?
The Star Spangled
The
Banner.
Star Spangled Banner with Open Mic. Open Mic was doing the poetry, and what's John's last name? Mr. Carr. That was very powerful. You blew all the levels out. I hope the people TVs at home are not speakers not bust, but that was on my techno, and I couldn't get the levels down. I didn't know where you were. You was all over. But again, that was awesome. That was awesome. Let's give ourselves a hand for that. Now, Lovella, before we move forward, I want to hear something from this sister.
Absolutely.
And she's the leader of the pack here.
I'm just going to do a couple of short ones. This one's a really old one. It was about one person in particular, but actually this happens sort of with a lot of veterans that I've been friends with. So it's called For Jay. Texting blood at 5 a.m. when I awake at 9. You are 2,000 miles away and it's 6. You're sleeping when I call, frantically, not sleeping exactly. Nightmares of corpses, blood on your hands, black as the sky and the hair on your head. Your ancestors never told you to kill, but were hung for living. Your voice rips through my ears. I am on fire. You are burning alive, and burning this war deeper in my heart. Broken into pieces, scattered on a green couch, a startled awakening. I sniffle, rub my eyes, and wonder, what are you doing right now? It's 9 p.m. in your life, now woven so uncircumspectly into mine, but I welcome this red thread. Your purple heart is safe with me. Questions of death and birth, your son rests on the tip of your tongue, but his mother is out the door every other day. Where will you go from here? And I can't breathe without a thought of you, and I can't breathe without the thought of you. I hope you are breathing.
Snap, 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 crack, pop. All right. So she's the real deal.
The second one is about my relationship with my partner. It's called Hour. I withhold my love, wrap the string tightly around my finger, your throat, twist the silence between us into tangled tangents, bursting from my frustration to your turned back. We lay these regrets next to the screw-its we stomp with our fists into the dust that becomes us, becomes the distance between our dreams and our damage, our rage and our love, our constant tug of war.
There we go again. Well, you know what? Now on that, let me ask this question: what do you want people to understand about the veteran experience?
It is not one experience.
Okay.
First and
that's
foremost.
open mic right now.
It's really important that, I mean, what Warrior Writers is about is showing that there are 100,000 experiences. It's not just the veteran experience, it's veterans' experiences.
Okay.
And we really want to sort of push through the stereotypes and what the media and the government is telling you about veterans. It's not just the silhouette of a stoic veteran. As you see here, these veterans are dynamic, they're emotional, they're real people, they're complex. And I just need to say that first. So.
Okay.
I think we're like bridging the gap between the understanding that civilians have about the military, stereotypes and stuff that people have about the military. I mean, even when I came home from a war, my daughter said that one of her friends told her I was going to go crazy and kill people. And it's funny how we're depicted in movies and things of that nature. We always have to have an issue. We always have to have a problem. But, you know, I always submit to people in general that we all, like people in general, all over the world, we all have our problems. We all have our issues. We deal with those things in different ways. And just because, you know, someone is in the military, it doesn't make them crazy. It doesn't make them some type of degenerate. And at times you can almost feel used per se. Like you go and you fight for your country, but you get looked at in an unfavorable way when you return. But everyone is there to see you off. Mm-hmm. Everyone is there to see you when you come back. Everyone says, thank you for your service, you know, but what is the real thanks behind that? So I think that we do have to kind of lift the veil so people can see real people, veterans, but real people.
And can I say something? It's like my goal to change the narrative too, you know, about how we're depicted, how women veterans are depicted in general. And, you know, it's like, I go by this slogan. I read this somewhere, like even broken crayons still color. So, you know, I have a lot to still offer. But, you know, when when they see veterans, they lump us all together and it's one experience. And so a lot of us don't even want to use that label, don't even want to get the extra 5 points or the 10 points because we don't want to be lumped as that type of veteran. So it's plenty of his experiences. Some of them are not as, some people love being in the military. I was in the Air Force. I call, Uncle Sam, Uncle Sugar. He took care of me, and it's just, a shame that some of the experiences that I had were just, unfavorable and just was, challenging for me. But, we still have a lot to offer.
That's good to know. I believe we have a call on the line. Are you there?
I am.
And who are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Lawrence Davidson, and I've participated in Warrior Writers, and I've worked with Lovella, and I believe from the short listen that I've had, some of the folks that are there with you today.
Right, cool. Is that something you want to say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to call in and say thank you for existing. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, but it's, I believe Tanya say, I want to change the narrative. I think one thing Warrior Writers does is allow us to diversify the narrative, that it's not all the VFW and the American Legion and the parade. Mm-hmm. And again, that loaded thank you for your service. How do you respond? Thanks for paying your taxes. You smile and you say those things, and to develop an answer that you're comfortable with, that you don't feel isolated with. You can find that in a Warrior Writers writing group, and sometimes the people in the group have the ability to put words to things that you feel, that it's in your gut, that you're kicking around, but you haven't quite been able to shape or to outline or to understand yourself. And so Warrior Writers is an amazing platform that I've researched for my master's, and I currently use for incarcerated veterans in Chester County for a writing group that we run. And cool. Even the conversations that I've had recently with participating in Radio Silence, some of the direct things about working with Iraq immigrants. I was working with a veteran yesterday, a Vietnam veteran who's really struggling with the civilians on the battlefield and his interactions with civilians, and to be able to relate my experiences.
Nice.
At an Iraq food restaurant 2 weeks ago, and he was just kind of floored that happened. Hey. It doesn't happen at the VFW, and so I just wanted to say thanks.
Hey, I'm sure they appreciate. Anybody want to respond? Thank you for calling.
Hi,
Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, thanks. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye now.
You guys are famous.
I told you we were going to be stars.
And again, I don't know if that's a People Power lunch hour program, but I had a call. I don't know if they've ever done it, so I hope I didn't get in trouble for that. They said some good stuff. Continue. We're moving forward. Again, we're talking to the Warrior Writers here at our downtown studios on WPPM, LP Philadelphia, and we're live on Philly Cam, Comcast 66 and 966, and Verizon, if you don't have Comcast, 29s and 30. So I haven't heard from Mike in a minute. Mike, I got a question for you, Mike. Who are some of the writers who have influenced you?
Wow. Honestly, believe it or not, getting into writing as young as I did, poetry was one thing and spoken word was a whole nother monster, monster. So some of the people that's really influenced me were the people that I used to go to venues to see, people like Kelly Cocktails, people like Shyster, people like it's KP. It's so many people that I can honestly say, and I always thought to myself that I didn't measure up to them. But then it became clear to me that it's not about being like somebody, because we all bring what we do in different ways, So I figured I'm just as good as them in my own way.
Chris, question: How can writing and reflecting help veterans out there who might be suffering from PTSD?
Mostly just bringing awareness. Hollywood does its own job of trying to bring some awareness, but not everybody's a Chris Kyle. Not everybody's out there fighting on the front lines, but we all come home with these different problems. Like around this time of year is my worst time of year, with all the fireworks going off and stuff. And just bringing awareness.
And that's real too. People don't know that's real stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, little firecrackers on the block got me jumping and diving to the ground. So I just want people to see that there are little things that affect us, and that there is help. There's ways to get help, and there's ways to get around it, definitely.
Tony, what are some other ways you can engage in self-care and express yourself?
Well, I think people need to realize that it's okay to give yourself permission to survive. You know, sometimes like I'm a mother and a wife and I'm taking care of home and my kids, but I have to step back and give myself time to just survive, to breathe. We have a thing like in the military with battle buddies, and we don't try to call them that here. So I have a sister bear that's a part of, Warrior Writers, and her name is Chantel, and we check in on each other, and Lovella checks in on me. And, even with just the little things, just having someone call you or text you to see how you're doing, like Chris said, some parts of the time of the year is really hard for, others. So I don't like to answer the phone a lot if I'm going through something. But, I appreciate texting because then I don't have to talk. So I get a lot of texts. I get, a lot of things that will, push me. And I think people, if they will get that one person that they can trust as judgment-free, that they can feel comfortable with, and to do active listening, just to listen. Because people, we don't want you to respond. We don't want you to fix us. We just want to talk when we're ready to talk. So
I want to add a little something about self-care, because this is something that I think people are sort of catching up with talking about and knowing about and trying to do. But in particular, we talk about community care as well at Warrior Writers. So it's not always about, oh, you didn't do your self-care today, but it's about creating a culture and a community and a society that acknowledges that we need to take care of ourselves, we need to take care of each other. And what I mean by that, for example, is when we do our weekend-long retreats, we build in time for self-care and community care. So we have people that volunteer to provide acupuncture for our veterans for free.
Nice.
We have people doing Reiki. We have people doing massage.
Nice.
We allow people to, start at 10 or 11 in the morning because a lot of veterans have issues with sleep. We end at a decent hour at night. We provide breaks. We give healthy food. And we check in with each other. And that thing that Toni was talking about with the battle buddies, or whatever we want to call them, some folks didn't like that term anymore. But it's very upfront and clear that, we're here to support each other, and that we're not trying to sort of brush things under the table. It's okay to talk about post-traumatic stress. It's okay to talk about anxiety and anger and issues that we're feeling, and we allow people to take breaks and take care of themselves. And we check in as a group about that.
Before we move on next, I'm going to do something. There's this little parody, little funny one, but I'm just going. Call me the boy Snake Plissken, the Sly Fox. I ain't slimy, I ain't sneaky. Works all day, but gets paid weekly. #1 song played twice when Three's Company hit the Big Four, and the J5 was told to take 6 after 7 because 8 is enough 9 times. 10 plus 11, 21 blackjack. In pool, I rip 'em, I don't rack 'em. My girls, I don't smack 'em, I just stack 'em. Homegrown on my own, all alone. God bless the child that's got his own. Been around the world twice, spoke to everybody once, with a drunken tongue that spoke a sober mind. I got to get mine. Now listen, Mike, you don't have to be a farmer to be outstanding in your field. All you need is some common sense and a little skills. When I was young as a kid, I was bad. I hated cartoons. Y'all remember Scooby and Shag? I was the little big head kid that bragged. If I didn't get what I want, you got tagged. Bop, bop, baloo, bop, the bop, bang, boo. Listen up close, tell you what I'm going to do. Kick your butt in rain, sleet, or snow. Don't take this butt whipping personal. I can't be like the next man you see. Like Mr. Sammy Davis Jr., I've got to be me. I mop a slop. I cook in a wok. I cut your bush. I make it a block. Like Charlie Brown on Halloween, I got to rock.
Yes.
I ain't do that in 100 years, y'all. But this the kind of I said I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just fooling around. So listen. What's next? What's some of the upcoming things, Lovella or Chris or Toni or Mike?
I'll say a little, and then I think Toni knows what's up.
Okay.
She can talk a little bit about some of the projects we're working on. Because it's our 10-year birthday, we've published 4 anthologies already of writing and artwork by veterans, primarily post 9/11 veterans. We want to make a book this year. We want to make our 5th book, and we want everybody's help in doing that. So we want people to support. Go to our website, check it out. Check out our generosity campaign and support us in not only publishing the book, but taking it out on the road. Some of the folks in this room have been published in our chapbook, in the Philly chapbook put out by the Kimmel Center, but they haven't been published in our major anthology, and we're looking to provide that opportunity to the veterans here in Philadelphia, but those participants around the country. We also have a big event, the one that Lawrence referenced, Radio Silence. We're going to be doing a show, a performance, poetry and music with Iraqi refugees and veterans
Nice.
on July 29th on Independence Mall.
What kind of show would this be?
There's going to be music. There's going to be poetry. There's going to be a homemade set with the what is the image on there that you're out of Ur?
I don't remember.
It's just
don't
there's an architect, an Iraqi
Iraqi
architect
architect.
that's going
Nice.
to be doing some some
Does
making.
anyone here speak Arabic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Shakumaku.
No.
That's
Tony can tell you a little bit more about participating in those workshops that we've done, and the Iraqi dinner, dinner
Yes.
at the Iraqi restaurant with the
dinner too.
Iraqis that we had.
Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be an
Yes.
Just
awesome.
a,
Well, we had-
just a gathering
Yeah.
of the veterans and Iraqi.
So the Radio Silence Project is great. We've been doing it for a couple of months, where we've been meeting, veterans that have been over in the desert, Iraqi, Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom vets, meeting with
Michael
Michael
Rakowitz
Rakowitz. He's from Chicago, but he's in Iraq, and
He's
what-
Iraqi.
yes,
American.
Iraqi. So we've been doing workshops talking about our experience there. And then we got to have this amazing dinner with the Iraqi refugees who are going to be, with us doing this project. And it was so funny because I was able to meet a woman who's a spoken word artist and a poet, and she does everything in Arabic.
Wow,
And,
that's what I was trying to get to.
Yes,
Oh,
and
that's
so
nice.
she's doing her poetry in Arabic, and I'm doing mine in English, of course.
Is
and
it the
we just embrace.
same piece?
It's
Or-
not the same
okay.
piece, but inshallah, prayerfully, we've exchanged numbers that we're going to work on something together.
Nice.
So it was very beautiful, to break bread and to be, not as soldiers, we were just people, and to have that experience. So that's the big thing that's coming up in July that we're doing, and with this being our 10-year birthday for Warrior Writers,
All right.
and we all perform. So, we're always out, doing workshops throughout the city. You can find us at the Women Veteran Center. You can find us doing the things with Mural Arts. We have a chapter in Boston. We're going for a 1-week retreat in Boston where we're working with the Joyner Institute of UMass. So, Warrior Writers is everywhere. We want people to,
Nice.
Find us, and, we'll get you what you need, that camaraderie.
I have a question for Mike. When Mike did his piece, and he looked at me on the piece, and this is a question for y'all, because we've always gotten this. We got a few minutes. I used to get this all the time, because as a contractor overseas, you had the military actually saying that, even though they were your brothers, but it's like, yo, you getting all that money, and we doing it. And I didn't really know how to answer this. Like, look, I'm just taking the job and I'm doing it. So how do y'all really feel about this? Just briefly, because we don't talk about it.
Yeah, for me, well, go ahead, Chris. Okay, for me personally, you can't get mad at somebody for having the job that they have. The way that the system is set up is truly flawed. If the guy working in the kitchen wiping down the tables is getting like $100,000 on a year, but I'm going out clearing buildings and I'm making 65.
Yes.
That it's a huge problem. Things need to be looked at and revamped. But it was a constant reminder to me that, issues in this world, it's never about color. It's never about gender. Those are all subtitles to keep us all confused. It's literally all about money. Mm-hmm. It is. And we fall victim, our anger and stuff falls in the wrong places. I can't get mad because you filled out an application and made, $150,000. I can't get mad at that because I filled out an application and specifically told me I will be making 65, 75.
Right.
I didn't know that those opportunities were available because I don't know, maybe I wasn't looking in the right places.
Right.
But then it's like, how do you close up that gap? How do you make that any difference? How do you bring it to light so that the American people knows that this is what's going on? And that's not me saying that you deserve less.
Right.
You don't deserve less because as a civilian, you're risking your life being in a defect. If you swept the floors, if a bomb goes off, if somebody shoots in a mortar, you face as much danger on a fob as I do.
Mike, I've always said, when those things come in,
they don't have names on it.
it's going off.
They don't.
And it's incoming.
Yeah.
It has no name on it.
But
so I used to always say that to people. I'm like, but you got a good point. I ain't mean to go off.
Oh no, the only difference is that we go outside the wire. We do assume the greater risk. When it's just 4 gun trucks in a tow truck out there, we got in the middle of nowhere against Lord knows what kind of odds you get. And so the honest to God truth is you should make what you make as a contractor, but they need to look at what we make and the sacrifices that we're making, because literally you put yourself in more danger. It goes up exponentially when you lead a wire.
I'll just say,
Absolutely.
Mike, I would just say it's the system.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna move on.
I'm
Listen,
sorry.
How can other people get involved and veterans, and how can they get involved with Warrior Writers? I'm thinking Lovella, yeah. I think that's what
I mean, I think there's a few different ways. Obviously, we are here in Philadelphia, so you can contact us and come to our show on July 29th at Independence Mall. You can find us on Facebook, on the website, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Our books are available.
yeah, matter of fact, how do they
warriorwriters.org. But what I want to say about the books is that it's a really great tool to open up conversation. You give that book to a veteran, and suddenly they feel like other people understand what they went through, and someone said something that they wish they could have said, and you give it to a family member, and they have a better understanding of someone in their family's
So
experiences.
where can we get this book?
warriorwriters.org.
That's it. warriorwriters.org. Okay, and so I guess let's go to Chris. How can people, if they want to, did you want to say something?
I wanted to relate to that question you had asked Mike, because I had
Briefly?
real briefly.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I had a whole different feeling. I knew a lady in Bagram, Afghanistan, who worked at a movie theater, and she made 6 figures working in a movie theater, while I made my little lousy maybe 30,000 as an infantryman. But it wasn't until we got attacked, and I knew where to go.
Okay.
I knew where I'd go. I knew where to go. I wasn't scared, and I'm watching her screaming, running around. That I realized, this is why they paying her more money, because she's. And like you said, she's in a zone, a hostile zone that she doesn't belong in.
Well, let me ask you, Chris, how do people, if we got warriorwriters.org, how would they get in touch with you if you people want to reach you?
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram.
It's just one group.
Oh,
So individually.
Oh, individually, definitely. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
What's your name?
My name's Christopher Wilson.
Thank you, Tony.
My name's Christopher James Wilson on Facebook, and on Instagram I'm CJ_Dub_215.
CJ, everything over there. Toni Topps over there.
I'm on Facebook. I am under I am Toni Topps on Facebook. On Instagram, Top Lady. Twitter, same thing. I am Toni Topps.
Okay.
Michael Miller. On Facebook, I am Michael Storm, STORM Miller. Also on Facebook, you can go to Open Mike's Internet Cafe and like the page, and that'll let you know what's going on at my cafe. My Instagram is Open Mike's Cafe, and my email is openmikescafe@yahoo.com. So if you would like to get in touch with me or even book me for an event.
And John and the other gentleman, thank you guys for hanging out. But before we go, we got about 2 minutes, Tony. Can you make it like a minute and a half, just something quick in closing before I close the show out?
Yep, I can make
Let's
it
go.
in a minute and a half. I'm
Go
going to
for
need
it.
you to go like this.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm going to do like that.
So it's called Warrior Writers Children. I left for basic military training on a hot day as my nephew screamed for me to come back, tears streaming down his face because he saw me and a suitcase piling up in a car without holding his hand. To me, it was the best thing I could have ever done, finally expressing my independence from my parents who disapproved of everything. I was free to be me without apologizing or asking for permission. Little did I know the next couple of years, permission will be all I asked for. Permission to speak and eat, sir. Permission to sleep and wake. Permission to pee, man. Permission to finally leave Uncle Sam. Returning home with gleeful eyes, a new life without permission or asking, finally free.
Wow. She bought it. Did she bring it? She actually a little premature, but I'll take that. We'll stop right there.
I didn't want to keep going.
We could talk.
No. We're done. Again, one more time, Lovella, how to reach you.
Please find us online at warriorwriters.org. You can find us on Facebook at Warrior Writers, on Instagram and Twitter at the same. please check out our website and consider supporting us through our generosity campaign so we can put out our 5th anthology for our birthday and take it on the road. Hope to see you July 29th, Independence Mall.
Oh, sounds good. And also, you listen to the People Power Lunch Hour in Philly Cam Studios, downtown 106.5 FM. We're with the Warrior Writers. Again, you can always still call 215-923-WPPM. And right now, I'd like to thank all my guests today, which you guys, let's give us some of the Warrior Writers, for joining us in People Power Lunch Hour at Philly Cam. If you'd like more information about Philly Cam, or you want to see past episodes of People Power Lunch Hour, please visit our website at phillycam.org. I'm Durwood Selby. Thanks for listening. Warrior Writers in the house. Peace.
We out.